Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here today. My name's Ethnie. I'm a graduate student at Yale studying architecture and MBA. I make videos about architecture and design. But today, instead of my usual vlogs or a portfolio review, I wanted to do something different. I will be trying out this app called MORPHOLIO TRACE, and it's not this kind of trace. It will be an app that is completely sustainable. You don't have to be killing trees. Although I've been using traditional trace for like the longest time, so I don't know how this will turn out, but let's see. To start, this is a plan I'll be tracing over. If you're interested in the project, you can click on the top right corner to see more about it. Starting the app, I'd say it's quite intuitive. You've got your traditional yellow and white trace paper you can choose from, and I'm just going to pull up my plan and position it on the center of the page. After that, I made sure my recording was on, and I like to start sketching my plan from the surrounding context. So I added a layer of trace, realized that you can change the opacity of the layer. You can have like a tinted yellow or tinted white like a real tracing paper, or you can just have no opacity like a Photoshop layer. So I'm just going to choose the size of my pen and the color, and I'm going to start going over all the surrounding context buildings. So far, I think this app has been quite easy to maneuver. The pen tools are smoother than I thought. I've had previous experience drawing on iPad where I just felt very slippery and couldn't control my pen properly, but this one has been fine. And I chose to sketch freehand instead of using a ruler because I still wanted the natural tracing paper slightly squiggly touch to my sketch. By the way, this is my very first time using this app. But before I started, I did watch the tutorial videos on MORPHOLIO website. I would recommend doing that before you start too. After adding the outlines, I wanted to give the buildings a dark gray shade, so I went ahead and used the fill tool. But then I realized it's actually a little hard for the app to pick up the fill shape when I'm zoomed out. But once I zoom in to like closer to that one individual shape, it's a lot easier to pick up. So this was a quick process too. I can't imagine going through all these shapes with like marker pens. That would take forever. And then I wanted to use white dashed line for the detail lines of my context building. This is something I learned in the tutorial. I didn't realize you could choose dotted dash, normal dash, or straight lines in this app. This is super convenient. I'll be using it a lot. So now I finished drawing my context buildings in like under 10 minutes. And this is my first time, so I'm sure if I had more practice, it would be an even faster process. So far I've been very happy with this app. Then I added another layer, and I want to draw all the trees on this layer. This is one of my favorite tools in this app. They have these cutout shapes, and all you need to do is just to fill in the shape. And they've got like shapes of trees, people, furnitures, or like patterns. And they have these two buttons on the right hand side. You can either do like a natural brush fill or a solid fill. So I've been having fun with just putting trees on this plan, and it's also really quick. Next step is to outline the actual solid walls of my project with a dark black poche. So I chose a thick black pen, and I just went ahead and was going over all the walls of my project. I wanted this to be the part that stands out, and if I wanted to change my design in the future, this would be very easy to erase and redraw, and it's just convenient. In this project, I have this forest of columns, so I decided to use a slightly larger dot to make them noticeable, so that it's also easy for later adjustments and they can stand out a little more compared to the original plan underneath. Populating the dots has been satisfying. And then I also wanted to give a light outline to all the interior rooms. In this way, the difference between interior and semi-exterior would be more noticeable, and by having this outline, it would help me to give an easy feel to all the rooms later on if I wanted to, which I do. So I'm just drawing lines and adding fills like I did before. I wanted a lighter gray fill this time so you can differentiate my actual design with the existing context. Make sure your entire shape needs to be on the page for the fill to work. Otherwise, it doesn't pick up the part of the shape that's outside of the page. Now you can see the general context and building outlines are all on the page now with trees and context. And lastly, I just wanted to add some details to the plan. And I have this internal courtyard situation that's lightly dotted on the plan underneath, and I'm going to do the same light dot on this trace. Afterwards, I also wanted to give a light green shade to it to indicate how that's a different space from the interior rooms. So I went back to the selection with cutout shapes, and this time instead of an object, I chose a pattern to go over using a green colored pen. Up until now in real life, it's been like around 30 minutes. Again, I'm just very impressed at how fast and easy this app has been for me. I feel like if you have used traditional trace before and like you know what you're doing and you're just mimicking the traditional process, then this app would be very easy and fast to pick up. Yeah, so I think I'm almost done now. Before I finish, I just wanted to add one very last layer of a even lighter green fill for all the context gardens. I added this to another layer because I'm not entirely sure whether I want it or not, so I'll separate it in case I want to delete it in the future. This is another tool that's similar to fill. Instead of an auto pickup, I just need to lightly draw the outline of the shape I want, and then it fills up the shape. I feel like this is very easy for like shapes that you don't want an outline for, or shapes that are like small that your hand can feel comfortable controlling over. The final step is to save my image. Notice that you can save on separate layers, or you can save one single image with all the layers merged together. I think this is very, very convenient. For the sake of this drawing, I'm just going to save one layer, but in the future, I think I'll definitely do the multiple layers one for future edits. So this is the drawing. I finished it in, 45 minutes. So comparing this with traditional tracing paper, I think one of the biggest pros is that it's very time efficient because they have all these tools that can save you time and you can always go back and edit. Whereas in traditional trace, I'm like carefully rubbing through my lines, making sure everything is tidy. But then I'm sure there's pros and cons to each method. So this is my first attempt. I'm also planning to do another video of a perspective drawing on this app. So stay tuned for that. And please let me know what you think. Don't be shy to comment down below. I really appreciate it. And if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye.